everyone. Hope you're having a great day. I was sitting in church service this morning, and in the middle of service, God just dropped this word in my spirit, so I wanted to hop on and chat with you guys about this. And I wanted to give you a little bit of the backstory behind it too. But the word is that God is going to use that season of brokenness that you have been walking through to bring multiplication into your life in this season and in the coming seasons. So God was really highlighting the scripture where Jesus fed the 5,000, right? So he fed them, and what did he do with the bread specifically? This is kind of what God was emphasizing. He took the bread, he broke the bread, and after the bread was broken is when the multiplication happened. That's when more came forth, right? You know, God was showing me that so many people in this past season have walked through extreme brokenness in some different areas of their life. You know, maybe the enemy has come in and, steal, killed, and destroyed from your life in a bunch of different ways. And maybe it wasn't God's plan. Maybe it wasn't the way that God initially wanted to do things. But God can take that place of brokenness, bring multiplication into your life, and use it for your good. And this was really what God is emphasizing to me, that in that broken place, that place where it just feels like you were being broken in half, that place of your deepest heartache, that place of your deepest disappointment, whatever that looks like for you and your circumstances, God is able to take that, and through that breaking, he is able to bring multiplication to the blessings that he's going to be able to bring into your life. And so here's a little backstory too about something that God was really emphasizing to me the last few days that I was kind of shrugging off, and then he really got my attention after church today on this. So I kept seeing this phrase that I had never heard of before in my life, and it was called bumper crop. And I was seeing it and hearing it everywhere, kind of a thing. And it was just in the last couple weeks or so. It wasn't I don't know. And I kind of shrugged it off for coincidence for a little bit. And I was like, well, I keep hearing this for the first time, but I don't really know what it means. And honestly, I didn't care that much. I was not that curious. It's probably not as curious as I should have been, right? And so God kept bringing up this phrase over and over again, and I'd never heard of this phrase, and I was like, is this even a legit thing? Is this a real thing? And so anyway, I kind of just shrugged it off. I didn't think too much about it, was going about daily life, and God probably brought it up 4 or 5 times in the last week or two. That's a lot, right? Especially for a phrase that you've never heard of before. And so I was driving back from church today, from church service this morning, and I was taking a different route. I had an errand that I had to run right after church, and so it had me take some different roads than I normally take on the way home from church service today. And I passed a road that I've never passed before, and it was called Bumper Crop Road. And I was like, okay, God, you have my attention officially. Something is up. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to read you guys the definition of what a bumper crop is, because I had to go and look it up. And this is the definition. It means a bumper crop is an unusually abundant harvest from a particular crop. The term is now most commonly used in a figurative way to refer to a large amount or an influx of something. It says it can be applied to one particular farm or to the seasons, that's important, the season's harvest of a crop in general, such as across the entire region, okay? What God is saying right now is he is about to introduce a bumper crop season into a lot of people's lives who have been through a past season of brokenness, okay? And so bumper crops, if you remember that definition that I just read to you, says that it's an unusually abundant harvest. In other words, it's a multiplied harvest. It's more than the traditional. It's more than normal in your personal life. You can have a good field that has a good harvest, 1 year, and it's kind of normal, right? But a bumper crop harvest is one where there's unusual abundance. It's just crazy produce, of stuff, of whatever that crop is. And what's interesting is it talks about or to the season's harvest of a crop in general. So it talks about how a bumper crop is sometimes a very seasonal thing. You don't see it happen all the time. It's unusual. It's something different. where God puts his hand on a season in your life, in your territory, in your country, whatever it may be. He puts his hand on that thing, and it's a seasonal harvest that does not happen a lot. Some of you guys have been through such seasons of brokenness where you haven't seen manifestation, where you haven't seen so many of these things that God is really trying to emphasize that he does want to bring into your life. And you've been going, God, where is it? What's going on? Like, why did I have to go through all of this brokenness in my life? How is it that things could ever work out for my good at this point? How is it that you could ever work in this area of my life? It just feels dead right now. And God's going, it's not dead. Even if the enemy sent it, I've been using that thing to multiply you, to give you double for your trouble over this stuff. And you're not just going to get back the promise. You're going to get a bumper crop. You're going to get an abundant harvest, over the top harvest in your personal life. So all of that to say, ladies and gents, if you've been through a painful season, if you haven't seen manifestation yet on things that you have been believing God for, know that this is on his heart, so much to the point where he had to get my attention several times before I would even take notice of it. And, he is moving in a powerful way in this season. He's not just a God of barely enough. He's a God of abundance. And I want you guys to stand in faith and believe him for that, and believe him for his very best over your personal life, because it's coming. They were talking about in church this morning, our pastor was talking about how weeping comes for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That night season of your life does not last forever, ladies and gents. When you're in it, it can feel like it does, right? And sometimes it can last for years on end, or it can be a really hard season. But the time of morning, or that time of joy coming in the morning, it's a promise over your life, ladies and gents. So hold on to that. Get ready. God is sending that bumper crop harvest into a lot of people's lives who have been faithful in this past season, and it's getting ready. So prepare your heart. Keep your hopes up. Hang in there, guys. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll chat with you again soon.